You think you're choosing your life, but your parents decided what was right. Then school decided what was successful. Then society decided what was respectable. And after all that, you're left trying to figure out what you even want. But here's what nobody tells you. That confusion isn't an accident. It was engineered. And today, we're going to decode exactly how. This channel exists for one reason: to pull back the curtain on the invisible systems that shape how you think, feel, and live. Not to comfort you, to make you see clearly. And there's no better place to start than the system closest to all of us: the family. Let me describe someone you might know. They love you, genuinely. No question about that. But they call 5 times if you don't pick up once. They already have your career planned before you had any opinion on it. They say, "I just want what's best for you," and mean it, while overriding every choice you try to make. When you disagree, they don't argue back. They go quiet. And somehow that silence feels worse than anything they could say. And when you try to explain how this feels, they look at you like you're the problem. Sound familiar? Here's the thing most people never realize. This isn't just your family. This is a pattern running in millions of households, across generations, across entire civilizations. And once you see the pattern, you can never unsee it. Most people look at controlling parents and ask, why are they so cruel? Wrong question. The right question is, what psychological state produces this behavior without the person even knowing it? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Most controlling parents are not aware of what they're doing. They experience themselves as loving, as protecting, as doing exactly what a good parent should do. So what's actually happening under the surface? The first thing, anxiety. Controlling behavior is almost always rooted in fear. Fear that the world will hurt you. Fear that you'll fail. Fear of losing control over something they feel responsible for. Control feels like protection to them, even when it functions as a cage to you. But the second one, this is the one that changes everything when you really hear it. A lot of controlling parents never develop their own identity. Their dreams were crushed by their parents, by poverty, by circumstance. So they do something unconscious but devastating. They pour their unlived life into you. They're not raising you. They're rerunning themselves with better conditions. Now here's where it gets deeper, because this didn't come from nowhere. For most of human history, survival was a team project. You didn't survive alone. You survived as a family, a clan, a tribe. And in that world, someone who deviated from group norms wasn't just being different. They were a liability. They could get everyone killed. So evolution and culture built a powerful force. Conformity pressure. Stay in line. Don't risk the collective for your individual desires. That wasn't cruelty, that was survival logic. But here's the problem. The world changed. You no longer need your village's approval to survive. The individual has more power to live independently than at any point in history. But the psychological firmware didn't get the update. It's still running, and it runs hardest in the parts of the world where it was installed most intensely. Which brings us to Asia, South Asia, East Asia, Southeast Asia. Why is it so concentrated here? 3 layers. Layer 1, the philosophy was built on obedience. In Hindu Dharma, your duty to family is a cosmic obligation, not just a social one. In Confucian thought across East Asia, respecting and obeying your parents is literally the foundation of all morality. When you build an entire civilization's ethics on parental obedience, disobedience isn't just rude, it's spiritually wrong. Layer 2, economic trauma memory, generations of colonization, famine, partition, war, poverty. These didn't just hurt people materially, they burned a message into the culture: play it safe, do what's expected, don't take risks. That advice kept people alive once. Then it became religion, passed down even after the original danger was gone. Layer 3, the family is the base unit. In Western frameworks, The individual is the starting point. Your rights, your choices, your life. In South and East Asian frameworks, the family is the starting point. You are not a person who has a family. You are a family that has a person. And when the family is the base unit, your individual goals automatically look like betrayal. Put those three layers together, and you don't get a few controlling parents. You get an entire civilization where control is celebrated as love. But here's where it stops being about your parents, because if it was just your parents, you could manage that. The real architecture is much bigger. Your parents control you. But who controls your parents' behavior? The extended family does. Aunts, uncles, grandparents who praise obedience and shame independence. Who validates the extended family? The community does. Neighbors, religious gatherings, cultural events where the good child gets publicly rewarded. Who validates the community? The media does. Decades of cinema and TV where the obedient child is the hero, and the one who follows their own path is the cautionary tale who eventually crawls back home. Who validates the media? The education system does. Schools that train you to perform for authority rather than think for yourself. Systems that reward compliance and punish questioning. This is the matrix, not a conspiracy. Nobody designed this in a room. It emerged organically from thousands of years of collective survival logic. And then it self-reinforced. Every layer validates every other layer. Every institution protects every other institution. And the real genius of it, it doesn't need force to maintain itself. It runs on guilt, on shame, on the internalized fear of being cast out. You police yourself. The system outsourced its enforcement to your own mind. That voice inside you that second-guesses every independent decision you make, that's not your conscience. That's the matrix, speaking through you. Let's talk about what this actually does to a person. The first damage, you never learn what you actually want. When your choices are made for you from childhood, you reach adulthood and realize you have no idea who you are outside of what's expected. Wanting something for yourself never felt safe. So you stopped practicing it. And now the muscle doesn't exist. The second, the guilt achievement loop. You develop ambitions, feel guilty for having them, suppress them, feel resentful, pursue what's expected, feel hollow, repeat. Not because you're weak, because you've been handed values that are internally contradictory, and your mind is breaking itself trying to satisfy all of them at once. The third, you become an expert at managing other people's emotions and a complete stranger to your own. When expressing how you feel is consistently met with guilt, withdrawal, or anger, you learn to stop. You get extraordinarily good at reading the room, terrible at reading yourself. This shows up in every relationship you'll ever have. But the fourth one is the cruelest. You start to mistake control for love, because it was always delivered alongside love, real love. And the two things got fused together in your nervous system before you were old enough to separate them. So you grow up seeking relationships that recreate the same dynamic, because that's what love feels like to you. None of this is your fault. But here's the thing about understanding a system. Once you see it clearly, you can't claim it's invisible anymore, and that means it becomes your responsibility, not to fix your parents, to stop transmitting the pattern forward. So what do you actually do with this? I'm not going to give you 5 tips for dealing with strict parents. That's not what this is. The goal isn't to manage the situation better. The goal is to become someone who isn't defined by it. Here's what that actually looks like. First, see the system, not the villains. Your parents are not the enemy. They are the most recent hosts of a pattern that is much older than them. When you really understand that, the anger becomes something more useful. It becomes clarity. You're not fighting your parents. You're tracing a pattern back to its source. Second, learn to separate their fear from your reality. Every restriction, every guilt trip, run it through one filter. Ask, is this actually dangerous? Or is this their unprocessed anxiety looking for somewhere to land? Most of the time, it's the second one. And once you can see that, their fear stops having authority over your decisions. Third, build economic independence as fast as you can. The mechanism of control is dependency. As long as someone controls your resources, your shelter, your education, your financial survival, they have real leverage. This isn't cynical, it's structural. The fastest way to convert the relationship from control to choice is to reduce that dependency, not to punish them, to give both of you the chance to actually relate as people. And fourth, stop arguing for your freedom. Start building it. You will not win a debate about whether you deserve autonomy with someone whose identity is built around your dependence on them. That's not a logic problem. It's a psychology problem. Arguments don't solve it. Demonstrated competence does. Real outcomes do, making the permission irrelevant by outgrowing the need for it. Understanding all of this doesn't mean abandoning your family. It means relating to them honestly, from a place of choice rather than compulsion. That's actually a deeper relationship than compliance ever was. We started with a question. You think you're choosing your life. I want to leave you with a different one. Not, how do I escape my parents? But, who are you when no external voice is telling you who to be? That question is uncomfortable. It's supposed to be, because the answer to it is the beginning of a life that's actually yours. That's what this channel is for. Not to make you comfortable, to make you see. If this decoded something, send it to someone who needs it. Subscribe if you want to keep pulling back the curtain. We're just getting started.